From the Middle is a proud member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here.
Hello and welcome to another From the Middle podcast. This is episode number 66. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives, with a point of view that is somewhere in the middle. We enjoy each other. We enjoy you. We enjoy doing a podcast and connecting those things together. We are the probably goofiest yet still legal podcast in Central Ohio.
I was very touched when the spicy boys of Grief Burrito referred to us as the most wholesome show on the internet.
We got to put that. We're going to put that in our intro somewhere. We need to put that in our thinger that we record. Have I said too much? In our commercial that we're sending, but no, it's good to be here. My name's Kendall. I'm here with Corey and Dylan. They are brothers, and they are very kind to let me just ride on their coattails as they travel along and collect Lego and watch the same set of movies 50 times.
Look, I'm still riding high from having the boys on from Grief Burrito, so you can do whatever you want.
Guys, if you did not listen to last week's episode, you need to do yourself a favor. I'm talking like how they probably think I talk. And go back and listen to that one and diversify a little bit.
That was a great episode. It was so much fun having them, and they're just great guys. Can't believe it's episode 66, Order 66.
Ooh,
crazy.
Yeah. But here we are, and I'd like to thank, we have some new listeners from Wales and Saudi Arabia. So thank you. Thank you for our newest listeners from their part of the middle of the world, which is not the same as our part, but we're glad to have them.
Which segues perfectly into a new segment Dylan likes to call Name All the Stereotypes of the Listeners in That Country.
Go ahead, Dylan. We're ready, buddy.
I'm sure.
Start with Saudi Arabia. That's a fun one.
I'm not sure how to stay the most wholesome show on the internet. That question.
That ship sailed last week.
I can make stereotypes about our part of the country and not offend new listeners.
Oh, come on, it'd be fun.
No, you can't.
Wales, something with sheep. I'm just going to throw sheep out there. I feel like sheep are a lot of places in Europe, and I can say that and still be okay.
You go to Wales, everybody's wearing sweaters.
In Saudi Arabia, I think I can say sand and new, very elegant construction, very modern, cool buildings. It's like this total opposite ends of the spectrum right now in Saudi Arabia. So thank you for tuning in.
Everybody has sand in their shoes.
When you quit listening after that part.
Hey, I'm really loving how things are trending, you guys. And I just want to thank our listeners. Dylan, you rattled off some statistics the other day that I was shocked by. So share with those that are making us so famous and successful, just what they're doing for us.
Yeah, and this is with like some social media channels, they who shall not be named, like artificially limiting our reach. So it took us about 14 months to get to 10,000 downloads. That's not including like YouTube, which is there as well. But and in the last 30 days alone, we've had over 2,300 downloads. So that
Nice.
might not seem like a lot to some. But that is very, very cool. We still need tons of help. It might seem like we're like these huge celebrities now, but like if you can like and share and comment and like tell your friends at the office and through your message channels at work and whatever and share our show, we'd super appreciate it, because that's certainly a very exciting trend. It won't stay like that forever, and we just want to ride the tidal wave and thank all of the listeners. So it's from the bottom of our hearts. We super appreciate it. We absolutely love doing this, and the more we see those kinds of trends, the more it justifies the things that we're doing, and that you guys are awesome. So
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you. We wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for you. So appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Keep on sharing and telling your friends how great of a show From the Middle is.
I mean, don't lie to them, but
Yeah, I mean, if you had to make up a little bit of it, it's fine.
look, you can sell our show and call us idiots at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
those aren't
You can-
mutually exclusive. You
that's
can be like,
true.
this show is awesome. They're complete morons, and it's so good you should listen. Like, those aren't. We all watch Dumb and Dumber because it's a beautiful train wreck. So it's totally fine. Just I mean, you sell it however you want. We're totally cool with it.
That's awesome. Let's do a round of updates. How you guys doing? What's new in your world?
So the weather has been beautiful, by the way. I mean, since you asked updates, super, super nice. Yesterday, it kind of hit me that it's starting to feel like fall, because I was sitting out on a covered patio, little music in the background with a cold brew. Really nice. It was the first breeze that wasn't like a hot summer breeze blowing by for like kind of the whole day or while I was sitting out there. And it's like it's fall now, and this is real good.
or as the meme goes, it's fake fall or first fall.
Well, sure. And this is Ohio. If you're listening from Saudi Arabia and Wales, you might not have the same. We're going to have fake fall, and then second summer, and then real fall will last like 3 days. And then we'll go to like 5 winters that we have here. So we'll get like 2 days of beautiful kind of fall, and then it'll get blisteringly hot again. It's fine. But it was that first time where it felt like, we're in fall now. This is good.
Mhm.
College football was on this weekend.
Mhm.
Ooh, super exciting.
She's getting stirred up.
Not full seasons, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take whatever I can get. We don't have everyone participating yet. But it's good. It's good to have some football on.
There's something so beautiful about when you can open the windows and just pull the screen door and hear the sound of college football on in the background, whether you're actually watching it or not. It's just, I love it. It's
I
so
hear you.
great.
I hear you. Have you guys decided what you're going to do as far as, are you going to pick a team? Are you not going to pick a team? Are you just going to, what are you going to do?
Well, a couple episodes ago, Dylan mentioned that for those that are in the Pac-12 or the Big Ten, obviously they're not participating in the season this year. So as of now, so who do you root for? What do you do? And he listed a couple categories of fans, right? Those that only watch their team, those that only watch their conference, or those that'll just watch anything. And I'm in the latter category. Even that Arkansas State game last night, I forget who they were playing already. That was just a great game. It's just good to have college football on. I'll watch any game. Doesn't matter. Competition. It's fine.
Are you telling the truth, Corey?
Yes. I'm definitely.
Okay.
I'll watch any game. Sherry will tell you. I was watching. Was it Mississippi? Who was it? Who was playing? Arkansas State.
Did you turn on the game, or did she turn on the game?
I turned it on. I turned it on.
All right. I'm just checking.
I'll look it up. Central
I
Arkansas
did not watch it.
UAB.
No.
No, it wasn't that one. I don't know.
It was the ones with the stripes on their helmets. and the one.
South Alabama and Southern Miss.
Sure.
Oh, that was from Thursday.
Let's cut this whole part out of the episode.
No.
No, this is great. We're going to keep this all for sure. Arkansas State and Memphis.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
That game.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Memphis won. I didn't get a look. We were doing other stuff. Memphis won. Yeah. So we're recording Sunday. This was yesterday. You had football on. Anything else that you've been doing?
Well, you described the breeze, and you guys, I've discovered a really wonderful exercise that you can go through to test your marriage. What you do is you rent a paint sprayer and stain 500 linear feet of picket fence together on a windy day. And just see how that all goes. And do 2 coats, not just one. Do 2 coats. I'm joking. It went wonderful. We made a great team. But yeah, we stained almost 500 feet of our fence. Rented a paint sprayer from Home Depot. You got 24 hours, 30 gallons of stain. We ran through that sprayer.
Oh.
And let me tell you, Behr Premium Stain is not something that you would consider cheap.
Right.
So yeah, that was most of our weekend. And I literally returned it to Home Depot, came back, showered, and clicked record. So I appreciate you guys accommodating that craziness. But no, it looks great. It looks great. Sherry picked out the color. It's like a chocolate colored semi-transparent stain. So yeah, it looks great. And I'm glad that it's done for the next 6 years.
That's the kind of manual labor that just...
Whew.
Does anybody really get excited or get behind that kind of work? Like, I know some people really genuinely, there's some like labors of love or some things that they do that outdoors and they just feel great about it. Is that one that anyone's excited about? Like painting a fence?
No.
Anyone? I mean,
not unless if you're training for a karate match.
Yeah.
Maybe could be fun.
Clearly the exception.
Right.
For those people. I mean, a garden I get. Like people are excited about, fruits or vegetables or planting their flowers, and it's a visual thing they get to see and be in awe of. But like there's got to just be some chores nobody's excited about.
So our backyards butt up against some friends from church, and they were all outside last night having a birthday party for one of their 17 children. And they look over and they were just like, whew, that doesn't look fun. And then another neighbor, because we got up at 7 o'clock this morning to start the second coat. And because again, we have to have it back to Home Depot by noon or whatever. And we got up this morning and there's just a thick blanket of fog and just moisture in the air. Not great conditions under which to be staining a fence, but we had to do it because it had to be returned. Then another neighbor came over later and was like, oh, I don't envy you. That looks terrible. Not the quality of the job you've done, just that task. Like, oh, yeah, just, yeah. I woke up this morning feeling like I was 64 years old. So,
indeed.
Good times.
Yeah, that's one of those things where, like you had mentioned, how it's not cheap, and like I had always been of the mind that painting a room or painting a fence or paint was a relatively inexpensive way to spruce up a space, and I've heard people even like say that way. These are people who either like just have their trust fund kids, or they have never been to Home Depot to buy paint, because holy cow, that is expensive stuff. And that's all I have to say about paint.
Yeah, here's some specifics. 1 gallon of the stain we used, $37.98.
Golly.
I just told you we did 30. So now in the 5-gallon quantity, it is cheaper, and Home Depot was running a special this weekend on chocolate, because that's the color of our new fence.
Sounds delicious.
But yeah, not cheap. So then when you hire that out, if you were to hire that project out and you see supplies and labor costs on your bill, you go, well, that's ridiculous. After this weekend, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of get it.
Our neighbors, while we were doing all this, they were having somebody paint only the cedar trim on their house. Really nice guy. He's doing a stellar job. And after this project, I was like, hey, leave some information on our front porch because
we're going to be calling him in 6 years.
I don't think I want to do I don't want to do the cedar trim this year. So I think I'm going to have him do that since we just did the fence. Anyway, more detail than you guys care about. Kendall, give us an update on your accent wall, TV move, painting the entire first floor project.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the wife has finished painting. So we were doing family room and kitchen, which is half the house on the first floor. And family room is the room that like isn't just getting paint, and it's painting everything. Like we're changing the color of the trim in the baseboards, and doors are changing colors, and faceplate and switches themselves are all getting changed as well to match. And it's a whole thing, and it's been going on for a couple weeks now. Still not done with the painting. The family room got finished up with painting recently. The ceiling was the last part. Yes, folks, we are also doing the ceiling.
God bless.
And but all of that to say that we also like moved the TV from one spot to another, which just did I tell you guys about the fiasco of trying to mount the TV?
No.
In the new spot. So like took the TV down. We for the longest time we had the TV over the fireplace, like a lot of people like to do, and we decided to instead do an actual entertainment center wall kind of thing.
Was it too high above the fireplace? Did you find?
It was very high, but I never found that to be a problem.
Okay.
So I know what you mean, but I don't think it was actually an issue. It was fine. But so we went to IKEA and we did the thing where you can like build your own entertainment center thing at IKEA. We used the Besta branded supplies for that, and we picked up everything that we could pick up at the local warehouse, and then we're getting the rest of it shipped, which is about half of the stuff. And so it's like we kind of right now have this half put together entertainment center on that wall, and the other half isn't going to be here until October. Oh. So like, and granted, like we ordered it like 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
so then that tells you what their warehouse situation looks like now. So in October we'll be able to finish that portion up. But I did move the TV over and move the wall mount over, bolted into the wall. And then I'm thinking, all right, so we're doing all of this. We're making a big deal out of it. Like I'm going to do it right. I'm going to be running everything behind walls. And so I bought some stuff that lets you be still code kosher and put a receptacle behind your TV without using an extension cord. And so I bought the stuff to do that. And I go to start cutting drywall, and I haven't used a stud finder. Like I just use I do the magnet thing and I find drywall screws. And so I'm like, all right, so I need to be in between two studs, which I am. And I start cutting. And then and I'm like, why is there resistance? And so then I'm double checking and everything. And like, what's going on here? So I cut the hole. And I find ductwork right behind that wall. I was like, that's my fault. Like I shouldn't have, that was stupid of me. I should have, okay. All right. So I'm just going to I can go over to the other side of this stud and I'll make the hole there. And in the meantime, like I had changed the method of what I was using, one product to another. So now instead of like cutting a hole, I'm using a drill to make it with a hole saw on it to actually make a round hole. And so now, like, I know that I'm in between two studs. I'm just on the other side of the stud that I've already verified. But now, like, a hole is going to happen in like 2 seconds because I'm using a power drill to make it. And zip, make the hole, take the puck out. Oh, look, there's ductwork on this side of that stud.
Oh no.
I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. 3 times. You've got three voids in a row. All 3 of them have ductwork in them, and they now have holes on the accent wall that my wife just painted.
What's on the other side of that wall? Does that go to the outdoors?
Garage.
So do you have a new window to your garage?
Oh my goodness. Bless her heart. She understood. I was very frustrated with myself because like any responsible homeowner would have at least taken a nail and tested with a nail, right? I did not do that. Instead of making tiny little nail holes that you can just like, put some spackle on there and paint over them. No, I've got like 3-inch holes.
Yeah.
That you need to patch. And so we did. She patched them back up. And then I had some raceway already to run wires through, and I just did that in a fashion that I think looks nice. But so wires are running on the outside of the TV, but they are running through raceway instead of just hanging.
I feel like we missed a really important question. Did you get meatballs at IKEA? Because I'm going to be honest with you, their cafeteria is delightful.
It is? No, but that was so when I talked about the what I call the stroganoff chips.
Yeah. Did you get those?
Amy did and brought them home.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Yeah, they're not actual stroganoff chips. They're pickled mushroom chips is what they're called.
And they're stroganoff.
But they're stroganoff. They're stroganoff chips.
So what you've described is a common thing for folks, because even though you live in your house, and you described how you've asked Amy to go downstairs and say, like, what room are you underneath right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to understand exactly where things go, even inside your own home, and where ductwork is tucked behind, etc. Right?
Right.
So that's why you guys know that I've been watching a lot of and reading the book of Adam Savage. One of the very first things he does when he moves into a new home is he builds a scale model of his home so he can understand where things are wall to wall with foam board. And so he'll take all the measurements and then he'll come up with an equation, either 1/6 or whatever, to build a model of his home. So he knows if I drill through the floor here, it's going to come out in the basement here, or that area that I find annoying above my cabinets, I want to just take that out. Oh, I can't. That's where the ductwork from the second floor is, right? So I found that really interesting that he does that. It seems like a lot of work, but he said that the way he's able to understand his home from then moving forward with any projects, and he says he'll often use it as a reference when he hires work out for any remodeling or anything. He goes, here's an exact scale model of my home. So
and they're like, who are you?
Exactly.
This is just an elaborate way to explain away his doll collection. That's 100%. Somebody came in, you're like, what's this G.I. Joe and Barbie doing in this little house?
Don't. Ken doesn't know.
Don't. Well, really, this is a scale thing for when I build. Why does Ken have on an army helmet and boxer shorts?
Barbie doesn't know. Don't.
Clearly got out of the shower. Army helmet. This is an elaborate.
G.I. Joe knows everything, though.
This is all an elaborate cover-up. I just found that really interesting, and a great way to whatever.
So, but out of it, I'm getting. We had a discussion, and there's things going on too. Like we're moving my parents right now too, and working on that. And and setting them up with some newer furniture for us. We were getting some brand new furniture, and then along with some other new stuff that we're getting together for them, sending them our old stuff, and amidst all that of looking for things that we want to buy for the new family room, I was like, well, what about these speakers? And she didn't think I was serious. And I was like, hold on, okay, let me explain this to you. If it were me, like in me putting together a family room, I would enjoy having a nice couch and enjoy having a nice chair and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if it was one or the other, I would be sitting on Coleman chairs listening to these clip reference speakers.
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing. So anyway, found a sale on the reference speakers, and then and I thought that was going to be the end of it for the speakers until there was another sale on the subwoofer. So I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Here we gizzo. Here we gizzo.
Oh, you're speaking my love language now.
So
so what kind of setup do you have? How many is it? 2-1, 3-1, 5-1?
Oh, it's just 2-1. So yeah, I've got two powered bookshelf speakers.
Nice.
Good bookshelf speakers.
Yeah.
And then a 12-inch woofer.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many watts per channel on your receiver?
There isn't a receiver. Everything's powered.
Oh, it's self-powered. You said that. Oh.
Yeah. So the Klipsch, they're really cool. The Klipsch powered monitors are they have a phono preamp built in, which I will be using, and they're cool. They've got they build in the crossover for the subwoofer as well, and they're really handy. Like I'm going to be having. I have the TV going through them, Bluetooth, and a turntable, and like I still have more kinds of inputs and things I could use if I wanted to, but I won't be. So,
yeah, you're gonna have to get a center channel though.
Yeah,
yeah, and a fun little thing for anyone who doesn't know or care at all about the cross, he said the built-in crossover into the subwoofer. That's to make sure dialogue doesn't sneak from the regular speakers down into the subwoofer and sound come out of the subwoofer like the Charlie Brown parents. Like all of a sudden it's like you get a weird echoey, like that's why that matters if you're like, you know what the crossover into the subwoofer means. If the voices start shifting from the regular speakers where it would be clear to the bass, it sounds weird and echoey and or boomy or whatever, depending on what's happening.
So for me, like the reference monitors are perfect for listening to music and listening to vinyl, especially, which is primarily what I want them for. It's just watching movies and stuff will be cool too, especially with the subwoofer. I don't need the subwoofer for music, but the subwoofer for movies is fantastic. So
I love it.
Arkansas State and Memphis were the teams.
That's
so Kendall, you said all of this whole project started because you bought new furniture for the living room. And so I reached out, or I said in that episode, hey, listeners, tell us something, the smaller the better, something that inspired a whole room or floor redecoration. So Midler Sherry sent us an email. Not my wife Sherry, she's only listened to one episode. Midler Sherry sent us an email, and I just wanted to call that out since we're talking. When I moved into my condo 3 years ago, I redid my entire open concept living, dining, kitchen off of a pumpkin fall pillow I picked up at Big Lots.
Yes.
all right.
Yeah.
So
See that.
Yeah. So yours was a set of furniture. Hers was a pillow, or as Dylan used to call them, pillows.
My favorite part of that story, Sherry, is that some people might redo an entire X amount of space based off of a really priceless antique or thing. in my mind, as soon as I read Big Lots in that email, I was thinking like a metal bin by checkout that just had these pillows. And it doesn't mean it's not an awesome pillow, but the Big Lots added such an extra little splash of detail and color to that story, because in my head it was like $1. Like you're like, oh, this is a cute pillow you grab casually, like on your way to checkout. And
Yeah.
it might be super fancy, but that just made the story better when I was reading that email. That was great.
That's
There's
awesome.
Dimitri Martin has a thing about decorative pillows. It's like so like I'm trying to lay down in bed and there's these like little pillows that like I'm not allowed to use. I try to use it and my wife is like, you can't use that. I'm like, what? Who sells pillows that you can't use? Just because they look nice, they're called shams. Well, at least they're honest.
I love that guy.
That's great. Thank you, Sherry.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, Sherry. And that's just a great little opportunity to remind all of you that one of our favorite things to do with this endeavor, and by that I mean our podcast, is to interact with you. And there are a lot of ways that you can do that. You can send us an email at fromthemiddle@protonmail.com. You can reach out on any of our social media channels. We are at From the Mid Pod everywhere. Or a voice message would be great. And in each episode description, we give you instructions on exactly how to do that. There's a link. You just allow your computer or phone to be a microphone, and you can record a voice message up to 60 seconds. Just talk about anything that you want us to talk about, things that we have talked about, questions, comments. If you want some really bad advice, we would love to give you some bad advice on a problem that you're dealing with. Reach out to us. We love interacting with you. That's one of our favorite things. I had an update about our friend Kevin. So as you guys know, for the last handful of episodes, I've been talking about Lifeline Survival. My friend Kevin, who is unfortunately now homeless because of a bevy of circumstances that have happened because of coronavirus, his job, his small businesses, etc. And he has now said this on his channel multiple times, so I think it's safe to say Kevin lives in Kenosha, Wisconsin. If you think back a few weeks ago, unfortunately, there was a situation with police, and there was a shooting of a black man, Jacob Blake, in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He was shot 7 times in the back. Cops responded to a domestic dispute. He was quasi-resisting arrest, reached into his vehicle. They shot him 7 times in the back, which caused days and days and days of unrest and protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Now, our friend who listens to this show, Kevin, Lifeline Survival, if you want to check him out on YouTube, we've been interested in what he's doing with his stealth hammocking and living on the streets, and he's documenting all of it. And so we've been following that. Because he lives there, and because I think where he works was closed during the riots and things, he just thought, I'll just go downtown and start filming this stuff. And so he would just take his phone and go down to the courthouse where a lot of the rioting was happening. And he started posting on both his personal Facebook page as well as a little bit on his YouTube channel. And I was fascinated by the fact that here's a guy who lives in this town, and he's giving a very honest and raw view on what's going on. So one night I'm watching, excuse me, and there's a huge mob in the park outside of the Kenosha County courthouse. Police and sheriff's deputies have gotten a huge fence to block them from coming up the steps of the courthouse. They're standing there in riot gear. Rioters are throwing fireworks and things over the fence at police. Police are shooting back tear gas. There's these heavy armored vehicles, and Kevin's just in the middle of all of this. And I'm just watching this live stream. I'm totally hooked in watching this happen. I think this is the second night or third night after the Jacob Blake shooting. Well, the police managed to break up the rioters and push them out of the park area. And so now all the rioters are kind of being pushed back into the streets. They sort of push them back to this gas station. It's at night, so the gas station is one of the few places that's lit well enough. And the mostly black rioters get pushed into a group of mostly white armed militia,
Kind of self-proclaimed militia guys, yeah.
self-proclaimed militia guys who are in full military-looking gear with their assault rifles, that they're open carry assault rifles. And I said out loud, this is like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. when I'm watching this. I said out loud, this isn't going to end well. And that was the night where one of the self-proclaimed militia guys ended up shooting 2 additional people. There were some shots fired at one scene. Kevin is filming this. Remember, I'm watching my friend's live stream. He's running toward the first round of shooting. Running the opposite way from him is one of the militia guys, and you hear somebody yell out, "That's the shooter, that's the shooter, that's the shooter." Kevin is filming this. He's on that same street. He's shooting the guy running down the street. That's the shooter, that's the shooter. So the people don't really know whether or not he was the shooter. They just say, that's the shooter, that's the shooter. They attack him. He lands on the ground with his gun pointed up and just starts firing. So 2 or 3 more people were shot. 2 of them ended up being fatalities. And I'm watching all of this live on Kevin's channel. So Kevin has now turned into this on the ground independent reporter, if you will. And it was just so crazy that A, this is even happening in our world. B, that a guy I know and was following for a separate reason, independent of all of these racial tensions in our country, is now on the ground in Kenosha while all this craziness is going on. I feel like A, 2, and D from Home Alone. When Buzz, I can't remember where I was. 3, that he's now live captured the shooting of these 2 people. So tragic and insane. I mean, and I remember texting you guys the next morning, hey, I was up till 2 or 3 in the morning watching this, and can't believe that I'm watching what I'm watching. So Kevin has now gotten this second calling, if you will, to sort of just continue documenting what's going on there in Kenosha. Now he started following around, and I want you guys' take on this. He started following around. There's a channel on YouTube called CJ TV. This guy CJ is also an independent journalist. And Kevin, before Kevin started filming all this stuff, Kevin was following a lot of CJ stuff. CJ has a lot of subscribers and views on his videos. But CJ, this other guy, CJ, just goes around to these areas where there are civil unrest, protest, etc., all the stuff that's going on in Oregon, where they've basically turned this one whole area of the town into a no police here sort of area. I wonder, though, if those guys are actually helping or hurting, right? Because they put cameras in everybody's faces, say, what's your thoughts on all of this? What's your thoughts on all of this? Some of them have legitimate press credentials, and some of them don't. But they act as though when the police invoke a curfew, they act as though that doesn't apply to them. Hey, we're press. We're allowed to be in the mix. And I just find that there are a few of them that may actually be escalating matters. You've got all these people with armored chest plates that say press spray painted across them, putting cameras in everybody's faces, whether they're legitimate or not. And I'm not saying that that's Kevin, and I'm not saying that that's CJ necessarily. I'm just saying, how do you feel about all these independent parties going down and filming that sort of stuff? So I'll repeat my questions because I kind of just rambled there. One, I would love you guys' thoughts on just all of that, the craziness of our friend Kevin being in the midst of all of that. And then 2, what are your thoughts on these independent journalists who local authorities are really just calling opportunists who are just there to sort of get more subscribers on their individual YouTube channels? Or is that the best thing for our country right now, having unbiased, non-corporate media there capturing all of this as it happens? Go.
Well, I think that first of all, just to point out, I mean, the authorities are right. Like that's why they're doing it. I would guess for the most part that that they're looking for views. But that's neither here nor there. It's like saying a business is trying to make money. Yeah. Yes, views is what they're looking for. They might have some kind of bigger moral kind of underpinning things, but regardless, I don't know. I have conflicting thoughts on all of that. So while at some times I might think that, man, I wish they would just stop. But I have that thought about a lot of things where it comes up, and I think that like I wish people would stop doing X, but at the same time, like I'm not willing for there to be legal action against it. So so that's, and that's where I fall on a lot of things that are negative, that like I don't like it, I don't endorse it, but I think freedom of the press is broad enough and should be broad enough that we should certainly allow it, even if I don't like it. And that's just because like I'm too scared of giving that kind of control to whoever is currently elected. Because as soon as the winds change, all of that stuff will change with it. So that's why like I'm not about federal censorship or anything like that. For those reasons, because I just don't want to give that power to the whims of whoever happens to be holding an office now. So there's that. The other side of it is that it's not like Kevin or CJ or others are doing the kind of work that local news companies are also trying to do. Because local news companies, I mean, it's not like that shooting didn't happen next to a news van, because the nearest news van was probably 3 blocks away.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's that too. And that's probably important. Some important things have probably come out. I'm sure Kevin's video has proven to be an important video, because he caught something that local news stations weren't willing to be that close to. Mm-hmm. So there's that too. I don't know. For me, I don't know if it's case by case or if it just matters on when my last bowel movement was or what. But I honestly waffle back and forth on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we live in a world that for the most part, we don't appreciate gray areas and nuance, right? So like, are there going to be opportunists that are just trying to get as much action as they can for likes and views and comments to monetize? Well, of course. But does that mean that the work that they're doing isn't still important, and that a lot of, and honestly, you don't even have to have a YouTube channel. If you're there and you're recording, you have the right to do that. You know, if it's out in a public space and these are, you know, the kind of events that are happening. I mean, historically speaking, we rely on primary sources to help illustrate and give context to things that have happened in the past. Well, guess what? Videos of what are happening in the world are literally firsthand sources, people who were there in the thick of it, you know, that have context to events that are occurring right now. So yes, there's probably opportunists in the bunch. But I think regardless of motive, at this point, you can piece together a lot of these video and audio clips, and it helps fill out the bigger picture of what's going on right now. So it doesn't mean I have to take one YouTuber who's trying to monetize just their point of view, but if they have firsthand footage of something that was there, and I can add that alongside 20, 30, 40, 500, 1,000 other videos and photos and whatever of different agencies and individuals who were there, that helps paint the picture of what really happened. And like we've all worked those kind of basic jobs in our lives, or a lot of us have, where it's like, well, the company is going to install security cameras to make sure employees aren't doing what they want. Well, as the employee, you certainly don't like that. And I think the same would be true for a police officer. If I'm a police officer, it might absolutely seem opportunist, or it might be frustrating to have a camera in my face, but there's also something about that keeps people honest. And we see those kind of videos all the time, that nobody wants a camera in their face when something's going down. But I think there's something there that people, it's an extra thing people have to think about, before they can maybe do something. I'm not saying police are the only people who would, or they're trying to do something or take advantage of a situation. That would literally be any single person. As soon as a camera is on you, it's an extra thing you have to think about as you do anything, say anything. So I think it's important, not only for historical context as we look back on this, to see and be able to compile all of those things, but I think there's a certain honesty that it forces upon all of us, having that recorded. So it's a nuanced answer. There's good and bad to it. Sure, you don't want the people there that are just trying to take advantage of a situation for likes and views. But those people are going to be there no matter what. So
in episode 56, we had on my friend Ken Justice, who's a news anchor, and we talked about how a lot of larger news corporations are relying on people on the ground and their cell phones, and they sort of outsource the news that way. They can't have their vans everywhere, and people have phones everywhere. And so that helps tell a broader story. And so I could make a case for that. There's also a piece of me that, if I'm honest, didn't even realize that there was this whole group of people, mostly millennials, strapping themselves up with body armor and like all this photography gear and calling themselves independent journalists and traveling the nation, getting in the mix, just being where the most newsworthy stuff is, and just shoving their phone or camera in people's faces. And people typically, I would imagine, are going to respond differently when they know it's being seen with a camera than they would if there were no cameras around. And so I just don't know if that's a helpful thing. And of the people that were running around that night, and there was like a network of 6 different YouTube channels all filming the same stuff, some of those individuals certainly did seem like they were trying to add to it or make it more sensational, where others were just there asking good questions and being thoughtful. And so I just imagine that only adds to the racial tensions, to the militia guys, to the rioters and protesters, that just have another party of people in the mix, making things more, escalating it, if you will. Yeah. It just seems like the less of that we have in those moments, the better. I'm not saying that the outcome would have been different. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I'm just saying it. I didn't even realize this was a thing, this whole world of independent journalists.
I mean, is it any different though? Like, we've all seen the meme where basically like 6 corporations essentially own like 90% of media outlets, something like that.
Yeah.
Is it really any different though than 20 years ago, people that would have had their own camera or taken photos to go sell to a local whatever? Like somebody's just trying to get in there with the camera and they're an independent photographer. They want to take photos and sell it to the local newspaper. It's Peter Parker, man. Like, he's just, he's taking photos of Spidey to sell to the Daily Bugle, and he's an independent journalist. So because the medium is different, does that make more people can do it? Because if you literally have a phone or a phone and one of those little stabilizers, you can take some amazing photos and videos and put it on social and sell it, whatever. So I don't know that it's any different. Technology is just more accessible, so more people can do it.
The reach is way different.
Yeah.
But it feels
a whole other element.
It feels a little too like the momtographer thing that we were talking about with Jeremy Kester. Like, the barriers to entry are super low. You need a decent shot. but that's sort of some of the playful criticism that even like Vice gets, right? Like they seem to make stories where there's no need for there to be a story. Like, can you believe this is happening? People are killing cows and making them food. It's like, well, yeah, that's been going on for a really long time.
Yeah, we all knew. Yeah.
So anyway, we can move off of that. I couldn't believe that that Kevin was there and that I live stream watched shootings happen in our country. And that scene, you guys, where it was the courthouse and police standoff with the protesters and rioters, I felt like I was watching a movie. And it was like Midwest USA. Just crazy, crazy times. Praying for our country, praying for this election. I just hope that some semblance of, I don't know, it sounds so Pollyanna, right? But just, can't we all just get along and be nice to one another? And like, crazy.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
too much to ask.
So let's move on. At the top of this episode, we had a little soundbite that said that we were now a proud member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Dylan, tell us about this new development. Explain to our listeners what that is and what they can come to expect moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Odd Pods Network, just like you might have a TV network that's got a litany of stations that fall underneath that network umbrella, podcasts actually do the same thing. They get together with, sometimes it's all similar podcasts, or sometimes it's different and just a good mix of podcasts, which is the case with us. And we've gotten together with a handful of other founding members, I guess you could say, of different styles of podcasts. So people that want to take this kind of the next level, are taking podcasting very seriously. And it's a good way to kind of get together and support each other in what we're doing. And so the name Odd Pods Media Network came out of that media network, because it's, a lot of the folks that even in our discussion with Grief Burrito, a lot of these folks also do other creative things like all kinds of YouTube videos and Twitch gaming, and they might be into other types of media as well. So you're going to hear more about Odd Pods Media Network across our social channels. There's a handful of other members. And it's just a good way to get together, support each other, monetize a little bit to keep us all doing what we're doing, because there's time and a lot of technology that goes into what we do. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. You'll see more about those other podcasts again across social, and there's some really good shows. So we're excited.
Yeah, so a few months ago, CJ reached out to us, and he's kind of the guy heading a lot of this up. He's one of the co-hosts of the Podescue podcast. And he said, hey, would you guys be interested in sort of forming this network? So what you can expect, every once in a while, we'll have a little promo in the middle of, or beginning, middle, or end of one of our episodes. We don't know that yet. Where you will get to hear from a quick promo from one of those other podcasts. There are currently 5 in the network, founding members of the network. We're also going to have affiliates as well, but you'll have a little introduction to the 5, and we might even guest on each other's shows. So it would be really cool to A, be on their shows, and B, have them on ours and just talk a little bit about helping maybe make some of our audience their audience, and vice versa. So that is the Odd Pods Media Network. More to come on all of that. We just wanted to explain sort of what that bumper was here at the beginning of the episode and what you can expect moving forward. So anything else? What did I miss?
Well, we talked about politics, religion.
I missed church today because I was painting a fence. That's what I have to say about religion.
We all noticed.
Did I get my gold star for the day anyway? Because I would have been there if I could have. Oh, bummer.
Hey man, it's not me you have to take it up with.
Okay, yeah. Hey, I just got to say, while we're kind of talking about podcasts and our listeners, hey, if you are a human being who likes to smell good or has hair, or you want your house to smell good, we can we say we're sponsored by? We're in cooperation with,
affiliated with
Artius Man. Artius Man is a line of personal hygiene and men's grooming stuff, but they also have a lot of other things. Candles. I'm
Candles.
enjoying that.
What? Oh, candles. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But if you go to www.artiusman.com, that's ARTIUSMAN.com.
COM.
Yeah. And use the promo code The Middle. They are giving our listeners 25% off your first purchase. And let me just tell you that right now, I have the Humidor beard oil on, and it smells delicious. Little top note of cherry, a little vanilla tobacco kind of smell. It's amazing. I'm also using their barbershop. Oh, I got it right here. Barbershop soy blend candle, and it's a woodwick candle. You know what's great about the woodwick candles? The sound of like a little mini campfire, like the wood crackling. So the barbershop soy blend candle is amazing. That's artiusman.com, 25% off your first order when you use the promo code at checkout, The Middle.
Boom.
Thanks, Artius Man. We love you. Anything else?
No.
Well, sir, Bob.
All right, this has been a great episode. Thank you for listening to episode number 66 of From the Middle. I have been Corey Hubble. That's Dylan to that side, and Kendall down there if you're on YouTube. You guys have an awesome day, and we will catch you on the flippity flip.
Bye.